They weren't prepared for it at all. That's a direct quote from someone who coaches for the Steelers who isn't Mike Tomlin. And the reference was to, well, good afternoon to you. Let's do that first. Good Tuesday afternoon. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is the new Double Shot Show. It comes your way every weekday afternoon. It'll be Steelers versus Browns Thursday night up in Cleveland. And I am anticipating, and I mean on multiple levels, that Justin Fields is going to be a lot more involved than the 3 snaps that we saw from him Sunday against the Ravens. And part of the reason for that is what this coach had mentioned to me after the Baltimore game, noting gleefully, and I'm talking about like a kid on Christmas morning, that the Ravens had no adjustment whatsoever when number 2 came onto the field. They hadn't prepared for it at all, to go back to the quote. Now, you can say, oh, the Browns are going to be ready for it. Yeah, it's now on film, and the Browns had, the extra 3 days, or even if it's just 1 day of practice, they're now going to be totally caught unaware when Fields comes out there. No, they're not. No, they're not. They might have an alignment that they go to when someone says, oh, look, here he comes. And they might move like one linebacker in one direction, but they're not going to be ready for it. Not in the way that you prepare for an elite running quarterback. Notice I'm not calling Fields an elite quarterback. He's an elite running quarterback. He's got to be top 2 or 3 in that category in the world. So you go out there the way Fields did for the first time at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday, and everybody's buzzing. The crowd all notices it, and then the PA announcer says, now the quarterback for Pittsburgh, number 2, Justin Fields. And there's a little bit of applause. Everybody realizes they got to be quiet because, that's the responsibility with the home offense out there. And the Ravens didn't move. And we're all thinking, well, he's going to run. I mean, why would you put him out there if he doesn't run? And snap comes to him. No disguise, no nothing. Takes it, puts it under that arm, and just sprints for his 9 yards. And yes, I know it should have been 10. He slid, okay? He's a quarterback. He's been a quarterback all his life. Give him a break. But it worked. And it was going to continue working. And I love it. There are a few things that I dislike more, whether it's in football or any sport, when an extremely talented individual is relegated to the figurative, or in this case, literal sideline. I don't want that. Nobody in that stadium wants to see Fields stapled to that sideline. There's too much talent there. There's too much know-how. And now that he's gotten to fully experience and understand the offense, and he brings you that different approach, that different mindset, why would you just leave that over there? Now, in fairness, Mike Tomlin has explained since then that Fields was going to be part of this all along, that a hamstring issue was what kept them from doing that right away when Russell Wilson took over. That's fair. But it's coming. More of it's coming. And I shouldn't know when it's coming. You shouldn't know when it's coming. The Browns absolutely won't know when it's coming. It's going to be a weapon, I believe, inside the red zone. Not that, forget the other night, okay? Russ is a really good red zone quarterback. He's going to make things happen there. But why not? Why not have the extra tool? Why not have that extra element of surprise? Do you remember how effective Fields was, especially once he got inside the 10? You know why? Because they freaked out. They had no idea what he was going to do. When we come back, going to be joined by Chris Halleck.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Joined now by Chris Halleck over on the South Side. Chris, let's get into the end zone here. All right. we don't have to overcomplicate this, and we also don't have to over worry about it. As I just mentioned before the break, Russell Wilson is a red zone quarterback. He's a guy with a history of success down there. What really was the issue that they need to overcome once they get to Cleveland?
Man, and now having time to go back and watch the game and watch the film a few different times, it just seemed like it was a whole bunch of everything. I mean, Russ not seeing guys open. I remember one where it looked like three guys all ran to the same spot. So I'm going to go ahead and say Arthur Smith didn't draw that up. That somebody probably ran the wrong route somewhere. It just looked like failure across the board to me. It just didn't look like anything was really flowing really well. And it is curious because Russell Wilson has been a good red zone quarterback throughout his career. Arthur Smith had a lot of success in the red zone with Tennessee in 2019. Something's not adding up here.
Yeah, see, I will continue to insist that this was not a red zone specific issue. I believe that this was the Steelers just not having it together offensively. And when I say that, I mean specifically, and man, you must have heard me mumble this 100 times next to you in the press box. Get rid of the football.
Yeah.
What do you – no, I don't mean just Russ. I'm talking about the play designs. On those times when he would just snap and throw, the ball moved, and the Steelers moved.
Yeah, and Arthur Smith talked about it today here at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex behind me, and he chalked it up to they're not doing enough on the earlier downs, and so that's forcing them into third and long situations in the red zone. And to be fair,
stock answer. I'm sorry, that's a stock answer on his part.
It is, but I do remember just about every single time, and this has not just been this past game, but how many times have we seen this team get inside the 10 at about the 8 or 9 yard line and then run it right up the middle with Najee on first down? It's just
only every time.
Exactly.
Every single time.
That's
okay,
why.
That's fair.
He did say something along the lines of, "We have to do something different," and that's the one thing I wanted to hear. Like, yes, there has to be some different things done.
Something different can be in the form of what I'm talking about here. Something different can also be in the form of what I just talked about before the break here, and that's Fields. If you have a weapon like this, and he's that threatening, and you have quarterbacks who have the relationship that Wilson and Fields very evidently and legitimately do, maybe you can form something along the lines of, I don't want to say partnership because that almost sounds kind of dorky, but you know what I mean? Like you have them understanding that it's situational football. It's like sub packages. Cam Hayward comes off the field for Dean Lowry. It's not on merit. Nobody's embarrassing him. No one's trying to say, hey, Cam, you stink. We don't trust you. It's just a different situation, or you're spelling him or something here. Let's hear what Smith had to say specifically as it relates to Fields.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fine line. Don't do it. I don't view Justin as in this role as a gadget guy. I mean, Justin to me we've got two starting quarterbacks, and he's a hell of a football player. And so if he can help the team, and there is a fine line. And I've done it a little bit in my past. We did have a stretch with Ryan Tannehill and Marcus Mariota, but different situation. So when you have an opportunity to set things up, and there's the way the game is going, throw something at him and put another dynamic football player out there. That certainly helped us in situational football.
Okay, so he's not looking for a gimmick. He's made that clear. No one ever wants to hear the two words Taysom Hill. That seems like it's toxic through the NFL. Not because of Hill, but just because of the way it really didn't work in New Orleans. Whenever Drew Brees was coming off for Hill and everybody made fun of them for it and whatever. I at least give Sean Payton credit for trying. Where this is concerned, well, think outside the box. Don't be afraid, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you look at the way this offense was playing in the red zone in the last few games that Justin was actually playing, I understand they didn't, I understand they lost 2 games in a row, and there's, plenty of reason to, and Mike Tomlin, I mean, they're 4-0 since the change. So we're not trying to question the change of quarterback, but you have to also take a look. Okay, well, they were doing pretty well in the red zone when Justin was back there. And it just throws the defense. They're like, it's Russell Wilson, it's his offense, and then all of a sudden they get inside the 20. If you throw Justin out there, it throws them a curveball. Even if they feel like they're ready for it, they've still been in Russell Wilson mode all game long, and all of a sudden they have to get ready for a guy who can do a number of different things.
Do you remember what Dan Campbell, Lions head coach, said before the preseason game that you and I covered up there this year in Detroit? He said about Fields, I am so glad to have him out of the division.
Yeah.
He saved that saves us so much time in prep, in planning and everything else, and nerves. Coaches hate scheming for running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Players hate defending running quarterbacks. And if you want to know why, don't just look at the negative examples for a defense. Look at the positive ones. Look at what the Steelers had to go through to contain Lamar Jackson. Look at what they had to go through, meaning not recording sacks or anything, to contain Jaden Daniels the week before. They hate this stuff. They would much rather say that player at that position is going to stand right where he is, okay? And I know that. It's predictable. I don't have to abandon the guy I'm covering. I don't have to have second thoughts. I have one assignment. But when you have Fields out there, and especially if you have him out there sporadically and unpredictably, I mean, you know?
And the thing is that if they were to do that more often in the red zone, it might also have an adverse effect on Russell Wilson when he's put out there, because then if you show teams we're willing to use the Justin Fields packages in the red zone, now defenses have to be on their heels on, just think, okay, Justin's trotting out there. Now we have to get, now Russell's going back out there. Now we have to get ready for this. And it's less than 40 seconds to try to prepare for the next play instead of, okay, it's one play after another. It's one play after another. It's Russ. No, you can do a number of different things. Keep defenses guessing. That's one of the best ways to gain an advantage. And if this is a way that they can try to, if it helps produce points, my God, why not use it?
You know, at the very beginning of this show, I made a reference to the coach saying to me that the Ravens weren't prepared for Fields coming onto the field. He also used the terminology, the Justin Fields package. Understand, everybody, please, this is not one play. Okay? Mm-hmm. They've got an offense sitting there ready to roll out for Fields.
Yeah, you could even see it with the way the offense looked over the first 6 games, the way it's looked over the last 4 games. The way it's looked over the last 4 games, they would not be running the offense the same way if Justin Fields were still the quarterback. They are tailoring the offense to the way Russ plays, to his strengths, play action, rolling out, throwing downfield, the same way that they were tailoring the offense to Justin. So yes, it is essentially putting 2 different offenses out there depending on if Russ is out there or if Justin's out there. And again, that's a great way to keep defenses guessing, because if you have that kind of versatility, not many teams have that in today's NFL. Not saying you have to always run out there with 2 quarterbacks. I don't think that's necessarily a way to win a championship or anything like that. But if it's a good wrinkle to throw in to keep defenses guessing, then it helps you win football games. Why not use it?
When we come back, J1Q.
Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different. Help prevent gun accidents, misuse, and theft. Keep firearms safe and secure when not in use. For safe storage options, visit projectchildsafe.org.
For today's J1Q, let's head out to the other side of the Commonwealth.
Hi, DK. My name is Fran Streitman. I live in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Born and raised in Butler, and a Steeler fan since Bobby Lane. A win is a win. I'm happy about that. However, I have a question. Is Russell's poor performance just a bad day at the game, or is it a prediction of future performance? What I saw, it looked like the first 3 quarters of the Commanders game with no rebound in the 4th quarter. I'm also concerned why they can't find number 88. Thanks, DK. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Fran, I'm not ready to share the perspective that Russell had a poor performance. And we all have different definitions of adjectives like that. I thought Russ was okay. I thought Russ hit some big plays when they were needed. I thought Russ did a good job most of the time of getting rid of the ball when he had nothing available. I'm going to be honest with you here. I had other concerns about that offense. I had other concerns about the passing game that I don't know that they had a whole lot to do with Russ. I didn't like the offensive line's pass blocking at all, with a couple of exceptions. I mean, Zach Frazier is going to get the job done. Isaac Seumalo is going to get the job done. Dan Moore is going to be Dan. Well, look, we're talking about Broderick Jones. Okay, I could just go through the whole line, but we're talking about Brod. He has to be better. It messes up everything when he isn't. I also didn't like Arthur Smith's drag it out type of play calling. And by that, I mean, when you saw the Steelers offense being effective, Fran, what you saw was snap, drop, boom. Snap, drop, boom. What you don't want to see, and you saw way too often, was snap, roll out to one side. Don't like that. Roll out to the other. And I understand that that's a Russ thing. That goes back to college. He's always been that rollout quarterback. But you have different circumstances and you have to adjust to them. And what I saw from the Steelers was, hey, we don't care that you're going to pass rush us, and we don't care that you're going to do it effectively. Come at us. Thirdly, and you brought this up yourself, Fran, there wasn't anybody open. Even George Pickens wasn't really open the way that he should be. George made some plays on the football, but I can't tell you how much it drives me nuts to see a veteran Super Bowl winning quarterback roll out to one side or the other, often under duress, and not see any of his people come back to him. What even is that? How is that allowed to persist? I get not being open per the play script. I get, let's say that for whatever reason, Calvin Austin or Van Jefferson or whoever goes out there and can't bust away from somebody. That happens. The other guys make plays too. But late in a play, you have no excuse for not coming back to help out your quarterback. And what these guys do is they're not open. And then they say, oh, well, play done. And that can't continue. So I'm not letting Russ off. To repeat here, he threw an interception he didn't need to throw. He threw a rainbow to Darnell Washington. I don't care if he should have jumped or not. You don't throw that as a rainbow. The ball never should have left his hand, or it should have been 12 rows deep. But I think Russ is going to be fine. And as I mentioned earlier in this program, I think he could use his partner a little bit too. I appreciate the question, Fran. I appreciate everybody checking out the new Double Shot Show. We'll be back with another one tomorrow.